Friends, hello and welcome back. So we're talking a little showdown action today. Just to let you guys know, not afraid to admit it, we specialize in working the market. You know, that's what we're good at in this game. We do not specialize in hitting the baseball. You know, we're kind of bad at it. Kind of a lot. Kind of not good. And Showdowns, it has been a struggle and a half for me, no question about it. We are a month and a half in the season. I think I completed like one. I'll be completely honest. I completed about one, and since then, no, they've come out with so many showdowns over these past weeks. Like you have to do them to get these programs done. So it's like I've been trying to kind of refine my approach to the plate, refine the way I attack showdowns. It doesn't necessarily have to be the way you attack other game modes, but the way you attack showdowns. And I've had a lot more success. We've been winning more showdowns lately now. Again, we're running through the Central now. But there's a couple things. There's a couple things. I mean, first of all, before we jump in the game, some gameplay things. But one thing I like about the squad that I think is important, because this is, again, problem, if you feel like swinging at everything, is grinding into double plays. So I've been changing to the aspect where if you go to your bench, you can look at, I got to put him in, don't forget about that. But you can look at guys, and there's usually a guy on your bench with 75 plus speed, sometimes 80 plus. I have found that 75 plus at 6 wins and 0 losses in about, man, what did I get? Friends are really good at this game. Good for him. That's great. But anyway, you look for the 75 plus speed, and typically you can steal bases with the 75 plus speed. You take the one step lead, you run across, you can steal the bag. I have, again, not 100% of the time I've done. I want to say it's about 85, 90% though, they steal the bag. I think it's really dependent. If you play a really good pitcher, I think Verlander has a quick delivery to the plate. That's a guy that I got picked off with. But for the most part, 75 plus, I really haven't gotten picked off, or thrown out, I should say, trying to steal the bag. So I think that's important because, again, even 90%, I would say, I'm being honest, I feel like we're grinding into a double play well over 50% of the time. So it's like, if you could steal that bag and get thrown out 10%, we're doing all right. That's a big game changer because you put the runner on second, your player's clutch attribute activates, and the opposing pitcher is going to be a little bit more nervous as well because his runner on second, you get rid of the runner on base, or double play ball, and I just feel like the momentum's much more in your favor. So I think that has been one of the biggest things for me, is stealing that bag, getting on second base, because I think we can all manufacture a hit here and there, but that's a big one. So having that in your lineup, obviously, I know it's probably repetitive. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen a million at this point in time, but as always, just quickly throw it out there. Remember, most of the time you're facing righties. Try to find the guys with the contact versus the righties up there a little bit. Depends on the mission as well, contact power. Depends on the program, showdown as well. Some of them, like I think the Central, for so far, a lot of them have a lot lower on the power numbers, the guys that we've been getting, minus the big donkey. But for the most part, so again, I try to look at, if that's the case, I am willing, personally, just because of the way it's been working for me, I'm willing to say, do I want 68 by 59 power with 100 by 100, or say 75 by 76 with slightly better contact, or about the same with a faster guy, or slower guy, I should say. I've been trying to go after the faster guys. I think I'll take a couple points off the power if it gives me a guy that I feel like I can steal bags with, because again, it gets game changing. You can obviously pinch run, but you can only do that once or twice depending how many guys you have. So if you have guys on the lineup that can do that, and they score runs quicker, obviously, or they can score because they're faster, it's easier that way. That has been big for me, checking that department. Obviously, like we said, making sure you know who you're playing. As far as the game's concerned, again, couple things to be mindful of. If it's a long game, and this is the difficult part. This is difficult for me. It took me some time. You're gonna struggle with it, I can tell you right now. You gotta kind of suck it up and get used to it. You kind of have to get used to taking 1 or 2 strikes. And again, I heard the theory, and it's like, listen, I can't get hits with all 3 strikes, let alone 2. But you kind of have to get comfortable with being willing to take a pitch or 2. I'm not saying go to a 2-strike count immediately, but being willing to take that pitch or 2. What I've been doing in the game is, in my mind, saying it's okay to take pitches. I think this is big because you feel like you got to swing at strikes. Balls up in the corner, balls left corner, inside, outside. Like, they're low percentage swings, really, if you're not really good at the PCI. And again, that's what we're talking about. If you're more of a beginner, you're not good at the game. If you're as good at the PCI, you ain't watching this video, you're just cranking every ball, right? So we're having PCI problems. So remember, when the ball is not in an ideal spot, the odds of us making good contact, not as high. So, focus on really shrinking the strike zone. in those pitches where you're questioning, is that a ball or a strike? If you think it's close, just let it go. Let those go and be willing to just live to fight another pitch, right? It's okay if you take a strike or two because they're going to throw you good pitches opposed to trying to calculate the entire strike zone. I think that's difficult. If you shrink the strike zone and say north and south, personally, I think that's the easiest, north and south. Like, you can control that. You know your own strengths, right? Some of us are better with the high pitch, some's better with the low, some's better with the inside corner. It's like you can shrink the strike zone to that area and just look for those pitches. You're gonna have plenty of at bats. They're gonna throw you some meatballs down the middle over here and there as well. You got to be ready for them. And I feel like when your mind's not all over the place thinking about the entire strike zone, you're less likely to, what I love to do, move the PCI out of the way, like when you throw a fastball down the middle and slam it down or whatever, because you're, again, worrying about a lot. You're nervous about the game. Understandably, you got one shot, right? You lose the game and you're done. So it's a lot more stressful. And that's a big thing. It's just being willing to understand that, taking a couple of strikes. I like to leave the inside pitches, even some of the outside ones. I find it's really hard sometimes. Even if you make good contact, they tend to, be fly ball outs. So it's just stuff like that to be mindful of. We brought it up though. You watch the pitchers, you watch how many outs you have. In most of these cases, 12, 15 outs. It's a good thing to take them strikes too, because when the pitcher's count gets up 30, 40 pitches, they get tired, they start throwing meatballs. And more importantly, I think, is when they're tired, they're out of energy, your contact, the balls are a little bit more juiced, where it's like, maybe a ball where you had three pitches or 6 pitches where you didn't have your PCI in the best placement, but it was kind of in the range, might have been a fly out. But when he's tired, he's worn down, the ball, his hits per 9, his K per 9, they're lower. So you make better contact, the ball goes in the gap, whatever. So you kind of have to be patient there. And I tell you what, besides that, again, you got to know how to hit the ball. There's no secret behind it. But I've been trying to instill confidence in myself, if you will. It might sound ridiculous, but I mean, bear in mind, I know this. I consider it a tip. I think it's a big deal because I get frustrated. I'm sure a lot of us get frustrated. You're in a game for 5 hours. Like, you're frustrated. You want to make sure you win. You're stressed that you win this challenge. But also, if you don't win, you start getting out. You start to get a little tired, a little anxious. It's going to happen. Again, been there, bad at the game. I understand. But I think having that confidence, being your number one cheerleader in the game, it's a big deal. Just like in real life, a player goes on a hot streak, his confidence is through the roof. When the confidence is struggling, he's going 1 for 31. I mean, your confidence, just being able to trust yourself. Man, is that a ball? Is that a strike? Should I swing at that? Should I not swing at that? You just having good confidence, having good vibes, being positive throughout the game. I try to remind myself. Now, again, might sound cheesy, might sound corny, whatever, but I try to remind myself. If I get out, I'm like, all right, you get the next one quick. You got it. You got this one. Light this pitcher up. Sometimes you got to pump yourself up a little bit. I don't care how weird it might sound. Trust the process. You go into it believing you can do it. Again, I feel like people are listening is like, that's very cliche of you, but it's like, it is, because otherwise if you go and say, man, I can't get a hit, I'm going to ground into a double play, then you're talking yourself out of it. You're worrying about other things instead of locking into the game. Just focus on the game. And that's another thing too. I always say, it's like, don't get complacent. It's easy to look at and say, hey, 16 outs, I can take this at bat off, or I can swing at this and be reckless. Like, what I've been doing, again, I take every single at bat like it's the most important at bat of the game. It takes a lot more focus, a lot more concentration, but it has helped. And what I've been doing too is, I'll play 2 games, maybe 3, 2 or 3, kind of understand, know yourself. You don't have to do the entire showdown at once. Play 2 or 3 games. If you feel yourself start to swing at balls that you wouldn't be swinging at, maybe you're getting a little reckless, you're making bad outs, bad swings, whatever, take a break. Walk away from the game, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, maybe go look at look at your phone, whatever. Take a little breather. It does take a lot of focus and concentration, but it's been working. So I think those are good ideas. Things to try. Again, obviously, there's no one fix all trick to hitting the baseball, but I do think shrinking the strike zone will help substantially there. You'll take more pitches, but at the same time, my philosophy, what's been going in my head is like, you try to think of this. Yeah, you're going to take that strike, and it's tough because, like, well, you don't want to take a strike, you don't want to strike out, you could have hit the ball. But I want you to imagine these pitches you're swinging at that are strikes in the corners, on the sides. How often are you swinging at those, and they result in outs? If you're getting out 85% of the time, what's that one strike hurting you? You was going to get out anyway. Take the strike, maybe you get a better pitch next time, And this time, you know what? Okay, maybe you strike out on the next pitch. You're right. Or maybe you hit the ball and you get a better pitch. Play the odds, I think. I think that's the thing. You have to be kind of calm down, play the odds, and understand that it's okay to take a strike. It's okay to have 2 strikes. It's okay if you strike out. Don't even get frustrated about it. You got another out to live. You know, like I said, keep the positive mindset. The time will come. I think getting the guy to second base is one of the biggest things. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful, though. Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.